it's like all the stuff, the things you put in your body. And I ain't no helpful, like I ain't on no keto and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, like I realized when I was stressing, I could guarantee you I had a Pepsi, a bag of Lay's, and a Snicker. Guarantee it was the salt, sugar, and caffeine. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm like, and I don't want to be in that place because it hurts. It hurts what I might say to somebody, and now I gotta go back to my children and be apologizing, and then how is it going to come up in their life when they're raising their kids? Like, Lord, I can't. And God, I already think they're going to put me in a nursing home, so I really got to be on my best behavior now. Like, you know, so it's everything, and I'm laughing about it, but I just know I was broken. And I said it, I was in a million little pieces, and it was just like, you got to fix this. And so it took me, ending a relationship. I'm telling you, I ended a relationship, walked away, and was like, you can have the house. I had a Chevy Tahoe, a Chevy Impala. You can have it all, because it just was not important to me. Who this was and all this, it was just on fire constantly, every day, mad, and just like, I can't do this no more. You know what I mean? I had to get away. So nothing, nothing changed my job, changed my life situation. Yes. I'm like Mickey Howard, Love Under New Management.
Oh, shoot.
What? I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's just like that.
I love that.
Had to get away from it, because it's like when you make yourself important, because we make everybody else, I want to make him happy, I want to make her, and then I got to write the rules to this relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anything. Like, it's the material stuff. I don't want it. Please, I need to go to sleep. I need to get up, pray, do all the things. I just need to be the best version of me. I think when people start counseling too, because I hear people say they expect to get a change overnight.
Overnight.
Like, I've had girlfriends be like, I ain't getting nothing from her. I'm just like,
but
she's only listening to you. She's letting you play
take
yourself.
Forever to. It didn't take overnight for that to happen. So why is it expected that something's going to shift overnight?
I think people think that when you go sit down and talk to someone, like they watch on TV, that you automatically gonna bring up your childhood, and like I know with mine really ain't talking about my childhood at all. Like it was, a lot of what's going on at work, what's going on at the house, what's going on here. Every once in a while we talk, but I never really, be honest, I don't think I had a rough childhood or things that happened. It was just when I got into my adult life, I started making dumb decisions, and I didn't know they were dumb. I thought I was doing the right thing. But like one of the things I did wrong was just not be patient with people, because you have that expectation of this should happen then, and then if this doesn't happen, I'm getting out of it. Like, I know my first marriage, me and my wife at the time, and we were really good friends now, but then I had this thing where I never dated Muslim women, because I knew I wasn't trying to get married. So I said, I mess with no Muslim girls. That was my honor thing. Like, I hold them on a pedestal. So when I met her and we got to talking, and then I said, all right, we're gonna do this right. We're gonna get married. And my expectation was Muslim women are better than other women. So you're gonna be obedient, and you're not gonna talk back, and you're not, and I just thought that. I thought, like, I'm gonna be the best husband I can be. Yeah, and then when we got into it, and once we living, I don't do well living with people at all. But because I'm a neat freak, so and she wasn't, and she was leave clothes on the floor and don't. I was behind her every 5 minutes, and all the kids and she was like, all you do is complain, and we just fought for like 3 years, and then when we finally broke up being stubborn, right? So we broke up. I didn't really want to break up. She didn't really want to break up. But I had a bunch of resentment. So we tried to get back together. Bunch of times it didn't work. Next thing you know, she ended up with somebody else. I was all hurt. I hated her guts for years. And then later on, maybe 4 years go by. Now we're friends again. And I look at her now and I watch her with her husband. She's the perfect, I ain't gonna say she's perfect, but a lot of the issues that she had when we were together, she doesn't have anymore. And she's like, yo, you taught me. You taught me how to be clean and how to straighten up, how to cook, and now I got recipe books and stuff. And I'm like, damn, if I just would have been patient, maybe it would have. But here's the thing: had I not went through that, I wouldn't have had what I have now.
Right.
And too, in my situation with my husband, I always be like, I'm thankful for his ex-wives because whatever they did, yes.
Yeah.
I'll be like, thank you. If I ever got to meet her, I'd be like, thank you.
But that's the thing.
Okay.
The resentment, if you don't get over the resentment that you have for a person, you'll always want to keep looking at that person as the version that they were when you were with them. You know what I mean? But you have to mature and grow up and be like, look, she might not be like that no more.
But why
or he might not be like
to
that.
stay the same? That's what you said.
Because you hurt.
I don't get it.
Because you're hurt.
But
No,
you're
it's
grown.
like that with a lot of relationships
Yeah.
because with a lot of different kinds of relationships where you could meet somebody years ago, right? And you haven't seen them in a while. Then there was a gentleman, he wrote a book and he said, when you see somebody that you haven't seen in a while, the question isn't how are you? The question is, how have you changed since the last time I saw you? Because that's more of an indication of who you are right now.
Yeah.
But people, because they're still trying to keep you in the place of what they encountered when they first met you, not understanding almost daily we're evolving and we're understanding something different. You know what I mean? And so that can cause a lot of conflict in relationships because you're perceiving I'm the same person I was 5 years ago.
Exactly. And
I'm
that's
not
what
the same person I was last month.
And
You know what I mean?
that's what it was for me, because I know in two situations I had two exes, and because my feelings was hurt in the situation, I hated both of their guts, like tremendously. But you want them. I'm being honest with you, like when your feelings get hurt, and then you come back, and now you want to try to talk. You be like, man, I ain't talking to you. Like you did, like that might have been 3-4 years ago, or the same thing for a woman. She might always keep looking at me as the same person that I was 4 years ago or 5 years ago, but I grew. And if once you can look at the other person and say, yo, man, you know what, you did grow. You're probably not like that no more. That's because you let the situation go, and you're not trying to hold them as that same person.
As the same person.
The thing is, and that's what I learned. For me, it was like, yo, at one point or another, you just gotta let the situation go and just move on and don't have no resentment. So I'm not looking at my ex. She get married to somebody else, and yo, man, congratulate. I might not want to kick it. I might not want to go to the wedding, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, I don't have no ill will for you. But that's something that you gotta internally get over. You know, you can't, because if not, it don't do nothing but hurt you. You ain't never hurting nobody else. You know,
it's very true.
Yeah.
You're definitely hurting yourself. It's your having a mirror reflected experience with a person outside of you, but you're really having the experience with yourself. So when you change, the experience starts to change. I mean, that was my experience in my marriage. Was, you know, it was first difficult, but that's because I was being difficult within myself. When I start processing certain things and clearing certain things, all of a sudden, without my effort, the relationships start changing. And now it's like a breath of fresh air, you know what I mean? But that's because I feel that way about myself, you know? So you're always mirror reflecting.
and you're giving.
You know, back to yourself.
Yeah, that's my thing. If you just constantly give and not look for something back, then you be all right. You know what I mean? Like, but if you one of them people that's like, oh man, well, you know, I did this and you ain't do that, and you know, he don't even come up with his half. Like, nah, forget the half. Like, you know what I mean? Just give and be a forgiver.
Argue with you about that. Because I know I just was in a situation and I was telling a group of women, you know, they was like, oh, you have to make money. Or you have to, and I was just like, I mean, I have a problem with asking for money. I have a problem with wanting money, because it's like, I never expect anything in return. My thing just is, if it's something that I'm going to see long term, like when I'm out doing talks at schools and stuff, I could be anywhere and a kid would come up to me and be like, I remember you, Miss Bashira. That is the reward. You know what I mean? It was not, I didn't need anything in that moment, because it's those little deposits you make in people, you know? And this lady was arguing me to death, so much so that when I finished, she was like, well, what is your purpose? I couldn't tell her what my purpose was in that moment. I called my youngest daughter, and she was like, oh my God, Mom, can I cuss? And I was like, my kids ask me if they can cuss, right?
That's so funny.
Damn, though, you know? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I was so hurt, I started to cry. Now I'm saying, Malia, I'm 21, and I'm calling her to like, and she was like, Mom, you really, she's like, all the stuff that you do. I said, because I never do it expecting anything. It's just who I am. You know what I mean? And this lady was trying to make me change that. And I was like, I cannot put and I was just like, are you kidding me? So then I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to change my processes on how I do anything, because it's not about
why you gonna let one person affect you like that?
No, it was just because I just was like, I felt like I was strong in my spot.
But
you know what I mean?
Felt
but
something
it was like
when she said, when she
yeah,
challenged
but this was the same thing. The same individual was having conversations, and she was saying, you know, look at how much education is in the room. And my thing just was, if black women are so educated, why are our communities still in the same position? You know, and that was my argument to her. Like, it's great, okay, yeah, black women are getting degrees at a higher rate than any ethnic group out there. But if when you come home, your immediate community does not reflect the education that's in it, what purpose did we serve?
Yeah, what difference does it make?
And so then I thought about it, and I said too, that's the same type of woman that will make a little bit more than her husband and then put her behind on her back. You know what I mean? And you know, look down on him, and then you see the breakdown of the family, like how that begins to start, whatever. But because I've been in those situations, that's why I recognized it. But I was just so hurt, because you expect, I mean, I went into a situation like, oh, okay, this is going to be great for me. And it was, because I was able to take something away from it, you know, but I just was like, how many people have entered in this woman's realm and she jacked them up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, again, words have power, you know?
But it just lets you know that that was her experience somehow. In whatever her...
And she's a taker.
And that's her experience, so she's trying to project that experience onto you, not realizing that everybody is having a different experience.
Yeah,
just because that's how you view things doesn't mean, like, you felt like once you gave in the way that you gave, and the child that came back and said he remembered you, that's your exchange.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand that exchange, because it's not her experience.
No.
But it's not for you to have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's experience is a different experience.
You know
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah,
exactly. I can't even do anything like
it doesn't make you any less valuable, but in her mind, what she valued. And that's another thing, is that, you know, everybody's functioning by a set of values every day, all day. And I'm not talking about morality or societal, you know, morals and stuff like that. I'm talking about what you fill your space with every single day, all day, that nobody has to remind you to do, push you to do, shove you to do, inspire you to do, or even motivate you to do. You do it automatically all the time, because that's what your value set is.